So there are different types of hypothesis tests, and it's very important to know the difference between one and two-tailed. But it kind of tells you exactly what it is, because a one-tailed test has one tail and a two-tailed test has two tails. How do you determine which you have? So let's see. Your financial aid advisor claims. Every time I see a claim, I want to basically, I always think about the hypothesis, the null and the alternative hypothesis. This is where you get that from. The claim that the average 30-year-old subsidized student loan interest rate is greater than 4.25%. This is a great example. If the financial aid advisor wants to conduct the hypothesis test, should they use a left, right, or two-tailed hypothesis test to analyze whether the average interest rate on a 30 subsidized student loan is greater than 4.25%. This is a great example, honestly, because these interest rates. Okay. So every time I read anything dealing with a hypothesis test and I see a claim, I automatically start my null and my alternative hypothesis. Your null hypothesis, H naught, H with the subscript 0, and alternative hypothesis can be represented as an HA, this is a subscript, or H1. I use HA because alternative hypothesis. Now you're doing a claim about an average for a population. So we always want to determine the parameter that goes here, which is mu, our population mean. And the claim is that the average of this is greater than 4.25%. So anytime you're dealing with greater than, less than, not equal to, that always goes on my alternative. So the claim is that the average is greater than 4.25%. Now, once I determine my alternative hypothesis, my null hypothesis is automatically we typically write it as equals. You'll see it like this, but it also depends on the book that you're using. So sometimes you might see it as, if the alternative hypothesis is greater than, the null hypothesis would be less than or equal to. And so basically the null hypothesis always has the equal to portion, okay? The alternative is always greater than, less than, or not equal to. And technically, we're not doing the null right here, because if I want to determine what kind of test, I'm only looking at the alternative hypothesis. This is telling me what kind, meaning is it right, left, or two-tailed? And being that it's greater than, pointing to the right, it is a right-tailed test. And that's technically all I'm doing with this problem. This is a really good problem to do in practice. But this is just determining where the rejection region is and where the area is located in the right tail. So this is a right-tailed test based on the fact that the alternative hypothesis has a greater than sign, which points to the right.